privileged to read this report to you this morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your protection and asking me to sit while I read. I appreciate it. Report of Committee on Energy on Oyo State Energy Regulatory Commission Bill 2022 1.0 Preamble. Pursuant to the resolution of the House on Thursday, 6th April 2023, that the Committee on Energy in the 9th Assembly scrutinized the Oyo State Energy Regulatory Commission Bill 2023 and reported to the House. The legislative process on the bill was not concluded by the committee in the 9th Assembly, and pursuant to Order 12, Rule 94 of the Standing Rules of the House, the Committee on Energy continued the consideration of the Oyo State Energy Regulatory Commission Bill 2023, Section 1.3. The committee received submissions from officials of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources and other relevant stakeholders. Section 2, General Comments. All typographical and grammatical errors have been noted and corrected. 2. Law should read bill wherever it appears in the bill. 3. Convert head notes to side notes. 4. Replace chairperson with chairman whenever it appears in the bill. 2.0 Recommendation. After clause-by-clause consideration vis-à-vis the submission of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, the committee hereby recommends for the approval of the House as follows. Long title. Amendments proposed thus. 1. Replace energy with electricity. 2. Insert 4 before order. And 3. Replace 2022 with 2023. Clause 1. Amendment proposed thus. 1. Replace energy with electricity, and 2. Replace 2022 with 2023. Clause 2. Amendments proposed thus. 1. After the interpretation of affiliate, insert agency, includes the Oyo State Rural Electrification Board or any such board or agency as may be determined by the Commissioner. 2. Replace the interpretation of area of the state as follows. Means of geographical footprint of Oyo State. 3. In the interpretation of captive generation, insert and distributed to, after consumed by. 4. After the interpretation of captive generation, insert climate change. Means a change of climate attributed to directly or indirectly to human activity or natural climate, variability that alters the global atmosphere. 5. In interpretation of commission, replace energy with electricity and insert section 3 after under. 6. After the interpretation of commission, insert connected community. Means community connected to the distribution network and of a distribution licensee. 7. In interpretation of generating company, replace successor company with entity. 8. In the interpretation of generation license, replace 32 with 35 of this bill. After the interpretation of generation license, insert governor's means of governor of Oyo State of Nigeria. Before the interpretation of independent power producer, insert House of Assembly means House of Assembly of Oyo State. Before the interpretation of independent power producer, insert Independent Electricity Distribution Network or IEDN. Means a distribution network not directly connected to a transmission system operated by the system operator. For the specific purpose of this bill, the term IEDN shall include mini-grids. Before the interpretation of independent power producer, insert independent electricity distribution network operator, or IEDNO, means an IEDN operator licensed by the Commission. Before the interpretation of independent power producer, insert integrated energy resource plan, or IERP, means the Oyo State Electricity IERP referred to in this bill. In the interpretation of lifetime tariff, line 3, insert be determined and determined after May. In interpretation of local authority, replace municipal council, town council, rural district with and include a local council development area. After the interpretation of market power, insert mini-grid means any electricity supply system with its own power interpretation of the tariff, line 1, insert to order to after pursuant. After the interpretation of state, insert state electricity market means the policy, legal, regulatory, and commercial framework established under this bill that enables entities licensed by the Commission to contract for electricity to be delivered to consumers residents in the state. In interpretation of trading, last line after sold, insert as such term will be further clarified by the Commission. In interpretation of trade license, replace 36 with 38 of this bill. In the interpretation of transmission license, replace 33 with 35 of this bill. After the interpretation of transmission system, insert tripartite contract means the contract between an interconnected mini-grid operator, distribution license, and connected community, which shall be agreed between the parties and approved by the Commission. After the interpretation of undertaking, insert unserved area means an area with a distribution license network without an existing distribution system, otherwise called off grid. Clause 3. Amendment proposed as 1. In the subclause 1, delete in the state a commission to be known as and replace energy with electricity. 2. In the subclause 3, delete Oyo State. Clause 4. Amend proposed as 1. In subsection clause 1, insert to after object. 2. Delete 2 in paragraphs A to M. 3. In paragraph D, delete who are not connected on national grid system. 4. In paragraph 1, line 2, delete to any before order. 5. In paragraph K, delete 1 and replace with 1 after generate. In 6. In subclause 2, delete subject to provision provided under and replace with in the portions of the objects referred to in. 7. Delete paragraph H and renumber accordingly. Clause 5. Amendment proposed as in line 4, delete the law and replace with section 4 of this bill. Clause 6. Amendment proposed as 1. In subclause 1, replace will with shall. In 2. In subclause 1, line 3, after who, replace will with shall. 3. In subclause 2, line 1, replace above with of this section, and in line 2, replace all after experience and. 4. Insert a new subclause 3 does. No person with interest, directly or indirectly, in an entity licensed by the Commission shall be eligible for appointment as chairman or commissioner. And 5. Renumber former clause, subclause 3 and subclause 4. Clause 7. Amendment proposed thus: 1. In the head note, replace terms with tenor. 2. In the subclause 1A, add and delete the full stop sign after years and replace with and. 3. In subclause 2, replace expiry with expiration. 4. In subclause 3, replace determine from time to time with determine in relation to the chairman or commissioners generally after May. 5. In subclause 4, delete of the commission before commissioners and insert 4 years after time in line 2. In subclause 5 of the commission before shall and insert the expiration after of and 7. Subclause 4, insert as the initial appointment after time. Clause 8. Amendment proposed thus: 1. In subclause 1, delete of the commission. 2. In subclause 1b, line 2, insert the before generation. 3. Insert new 5 to subclause 1d, read thus: at any point in time being removed from the office of trust on account of misconduct. 4. Insert a new paragraph E to subclause 1 to read thus: has attained the age of 70 years. And 5. Renumber former subclause 1, 2, and 3 as 3, 4, and 5. Clause 9. Amendment proposed thus: 1. In the head notes, delete of the commission. 2. Insert the chairman or before the commissioner. And 3. In subclause D, insert the bill after 10. Subclause 10. Amendment proposed thus: 1. In the head note, delete O, the commission. 2. In subclause 1, add he after if. 3. Delete subclause A and rewrite thus: has been found to have conducted himself in a manner that renders him unsuitable to continue his duties, include a contravention of section 15 of this law. Or 4. In subclause B, replace fixed with assigned. 5. In subclause C, and replace carry with carrying. And subclause 6. In subclause 2, insert has been issued by the governor and is after request. Clause 11. Amendment proposed line 2 after pending, delete the nomination of A and replace with the appointment of A and after governor, insert according to the provision of this law. Clause 12. Amendment proposed: 1. In subclause 1, insert but not less than 5 times in a calendar year after expedient. 2. In subclause 4, line 1, insert members after 3, and in line 4, insert or the person presiding before shall. Clause 13. The clause 13 stands part of the bill. Clause 14. Amendment proposed thus: 1. Subclause 1, deletes of the commission. 2. In subclause C, delete such persons and replace with his before relative. 3. In subclause 2, add influence after of. In subclause 3, insert as amended after 1999. And 5. In subclause 4, line 1, insert the chairman or the commissioner before commissioner. And in line 2, delete such persons and replace with his. Clause 15. That clause shall stand part of the bill. Clause 16. That clause shall stand part of the bill. Clause 17. That clause shall stand part of the bill. Clause 18. That clause shall stand part of the bill. Clause 19. Amendment proposed: in the headline add or in the High Court of Oyo State after experts. Clause 20. That clause shall stand part of the bill. Clause 21. The clause 21 stands part of the bill. Clause 22. Amendment proposed: insert subclause 4 thus: 2% of all funds and revenue of the commission shall be remitted to the Rural Electrification Board. Clause 23. The clause 23 stand parts of the bill. Clause 24. The clause 24 stand parts of the bill. Clause 25. Amendment proposed. 1. Delete Oyo State Audit Law 21. And 2. In subclause 5, replace 2 national newspapers with an official gazette of the state before within 21 Q2. Clause 26. Amendment proposed. Subclause 2. Before imprisonment, delete a fine of not exceeding amount of 30% of such person remuneration or 2. And insert or a fine exceeding 30% of such person annual remuneration after months in the last line. Clause 27. That clause stand pass of the bill. Clause 28. Amendment proposed does. 1. Subclause 1, line 2. Before experience, insert cognate and replace member of the civil service in line 2 and replace with civil servant. And in line 3, delete board and replace with commission. 2. In subclause 2, after better, replace exercise and performance. 3. In subclause 4, delete based on recommendation of the relevant authority. 4. In subclause 5b, line 3, insert to the employees of the commission with after applicable and delete 1 to the employees of the commission after necessary. 2. Which after applicable. 5. In subclause 6, line 1, replace 4 with 5 after the word subsection. 6. In subclause 8, line 1, replace 3 with 7 after the words subsection. Clause 29. Amendment proposed does in line 3. Insert of any right after exercise. Clause 30. Amendment proposed does. 1. Delete subclauses A to E. Replace with the following: A. Electricity generation excluding captive generation, or B. Electricity transmission, or C. Electricity supply, or D. System operation, or E. Electricity distribution, or F. Integrated utility, or G. Trade in electricity of more, or H. Embedded electricity generation, or I. Mini grid installation, or J. Captive power generations, or K. Other categories of electricity services from time to time established by the Commission under this bill. Insert new subclauses 3 and 4 and renumber subclause. 3. The Commission may by regulations provide procedures for the licensing matters, including the application, grant, geographical scope, renewal, amendment, transfer, assignment, cessation, supervision, cancellation, withdrawal, or refusal, and other special terms relating to utilities that may apply to the license issued under this bill. 4. The Commission shall make the regulations required in subsection 3 in such manner as to impose minimal costs on applicants and licensees in terms of time, compliance, reporting requirements, and ease the entry into commercial operations of all licenses. Clause 31. The former clause 31 becomes 32 and stand parts of the bill. Clause 32. The former clause 32 becomes clause 33 and amendment. Amendment proposed in subclause 1, line 1, replace fix with prescribe. Clause 3. The former clause 32, clause 34, and amendment proposed does. 1. In subclause 2, line 1, replace fix with prescribe. 2. Inside new subclauses 3 and 4 as follows. Clause 33. The former clause 33 becomes clause 34 and amendment proposed does. 1. In subclause 2 in line 1, replace fixed with prescribed. 2. Inside subclause 3 and 4 does. 3. Notwithstanding subsection 2 of this section, the transmission licensee licensed by the NERC or the successor entitled shall continue to operate and manage their existing transmission lines and transmission substations in the state or relating to the state, provided that such transmission license shall not be involved in any other licensed activity within the state without a valid license issued by the Commission. 4. The state may also collaborate with the transmission licenses licensed by the NERC to invest in increase the capacity of such transmission licenses, transmission lines, transmission substations, or other related infrastructure within the state, including the relevant control rooms, provided that such investment by the state shall be owned, operated, and managed by the transmission service provider and or system operator licensed by the Commission. Clause 34. The former Clause 34 becomes Clause 35. An amendment proposed thus. 1. In sub-clause 1, line 1, replace fixed with prescribed. 2. In sub-clause 2, line 1, replace according to with in. 3. Insert sub-clause 3 does, notwithstanding subsection 2 of this section, the system operator or a successor in title of the transmission licensing license by NERC shall continue to perform its functions relating to the transmission lines and transmission substations or other related infrastructures owned by the transmission license in the state or relating to the state, provided that such system operator shall not be involved in any other license activity within the state without a valid license issued by the Commission. 35. That former Clause 35 becomes Clause 36. An amendment proposed thus. 1. In subsection 1, replace fixed with prescribed. And 2. In subsection 3, line 5, delete according to and replace within. Clause 36 from former Clause 36 becomes Clause 37. An amendment proposed thus. 1. In sub-clause 1, line 2, delete authority and replace with power. 2. In sub-clause 3, line 2, according to, delete according to and replace within in. 3. Insert sub-clauses 4 and 5. 4. In addition to subsection 1 of this section, a trading license holder may be authorized to provide one or more of the following services as may be specified in the license. 1. Enter into appropriate agreements with a distribution license for wheeling electricity to it. B. Purchase electricity or ancillary services for the supplying of electricity to it. C. Connect electricity consumers for the purpose of receiving supply of electricity. D. Supply, install, maintain, and read meters for the purpose of billing and collection of revenue. E. Provide customer care services in regard to billing, payment, collection, metering, and force repair. Or F. Undertake such other activities to provide such other services as been prescribed by the license. 5. A trading license shall have regard to the nature of the authorized activities as specified in the license. A. Engage in the trading of electricity and or auxiliary services on a non-discriminatory basis in accordance with this bill, the terms and conditions of its license and applicable rules and regulation. B. Publicly make available its rate, charges and other terms and other conditions as applicable to its services. C. Provide quality service to electricity consumers and ensure that all its transactions are transparent. D. Ensure timely and effective billing, collection and dissemination of payments. E. Supply electricity to electricity consumers on non-discriminatory basis in accordance with this bill, the terms and conditions of its license and applicable rules. F. Publicly make available its rates, charges and other terms and conditions as applicable to its services. G. Coordinate the delivery of services with other licenses and market participants as the circumstances may require. And H. Develop, operate, maintain a reliable, efficient, safe, economical, and environmentally responsible business in accordance with the applicable rules, conduct, codes, and standards, etc., as may be issued or approved by the Commission. Clause 37. The former Clause 37 becomes Clause 38. An amendment proposed thus. In sub-clause 2, replace 35 with 36 and 38 with 39 of this bill. And in line 6, delete but not limited to. Clause 38. The former clause 38 becomes clause 39 and amendment proposed thus. 1. In sub clause 2, line 4, delete national circulation newspaper and replace with the official gazette of the government. 2. In sub clause 4A, line 2, delete without. And clause 39. The former clause 39 becomes clause 40 and amendment proposed to sub clause 1, line 4, thus delete 42 and replace with 44. Clause 40. The former clause 40 becomes clause 41 and amendment proposed thus. 1. In subsection 1, insert pursuant in section 39(10). Clause 41. Clause 41. An amendment proposed to subclause 1B, line 2, replace 37 subsection 7 with 38. Clause 42. The former clause 42 becomes 44 and stands part of the bill. Clause 43. The former clause 43 becomes 45. Amendment proposed subclause 1 replace 42 and 44. Clause 44. That former clause 44 becomes 49 and stand part of the bill. Clause 45. The former clause 45 becomes 50 and amendment proposed thus. 1. In subclauses 1 and 3, after transmission, insert integrated utility operation and subclause 10 after license. This clause. Okay. Clause 43. Former clause 43 becomes 45 and amendment proposed in subclause 1 replace 42 and 44. Insertion of new clause 43. Supply licenses. 1. The Commission may grant a license authorizing a person to construct, own, operate, and maintain facilities and equipment for the distribution of electricity at the voltage levels below 33 kilovolts, and for the purpose of the installation, maintenance, and utilization of metering, billing, revenue collection, and customer care systems in such manner as may be specified in the terms and conditions of its license. 2. Subject to such terms and conditions as Commission may prescribe in the license and compliance with the provision of this bill or any regulation made hereunder, a supply license holder may be authorized to provide 1 or more of the following services as may be specified in the license: engage in the purchase, sale and or trade of electricity or ancillary services. 2A. Enter into appropriate agreements with a distribution license for wheeling electricity to it. B. Purchase electricity under or purchase electricity and or ancillary services for supply of electricity consumers. C. Supply electricity to electricity consumers. D. Connect electricity consumers for the purpose of receiving supply of electricity. E. Supply, install, maintain, or read meter for the purpose of billing and collection of revenue. F. Provide customer care services in regard to billing, payment, collection, metering, and fault repair. Or G. Undertake such other activities or provide such other services as may be prescribed in the license. 3. A supply license shall have in regard to the nature of the authorized activities as specified in the license: A. Engage in trading of electricity and or auxiliary services on a non-discriminatory basis in accordance with this bill, the terms and conditions of its license and applicable rules and regulations. B. Publicly make available its rates, charges, and other terms and conditions as applicable to its services. C. provide quality services to electricity consumers and ensure that all transactions are transparent. D, ensure timely and effective billing, collection and dissemination of payments. E, supply electricity to electricity consumers on a non-discriminatory basis in accordance with this bill, the terms and conditions of its license and applicable rules. F, coordinate the delivery of services with other licenses and market participants as the circumstances may require. G, develop, operate, and maintain a reliable, efficient, safe, economical, and environmentally responsible business in accordance with the applicable rules, codes, standards, etc., as may be issued or approved by the Commission. And H, as a market participant, comply fully with the instructions, directions of Oyo State ISO. Okay. Clause 45. Clause 45. The former clause 45 shall become 50. An amendment proposed thus. 1. In sub-clauses 1 and 3, after transmission, insert integrated utility operation and sub-clause 10 after line C. Clause 46. The former clause 46 becomes 51 and stand part of the bill. Clause 47. The former clause 47 becomes 52 and stand part of the bill. Clause 48. The former clause 48 becomes 53. An amendment proposed thus. In sub-clause 1, insert paragraph C to F as follows. C. The safe, reliable, and efficient operation of all licensed facilities. D. In collaboration with the system operator, if one is licensed, the scheduling and dispatch of generation capacity, the scheduling and coordination of generation outages, the procurement of auxiliary services to enable stability and state electricity market. Procurement of auxiliary service enables stability of the state electricity market. E. The promotion of energy efficiency and demand-side management practices by consumers. F. Sharing of common facilities such as billing, payment, vending, and other customer care systems, right-of-way, tower, switchyards, substations, and the like. 2. Renumber paragraph C as G. Clause 49. The former clause 49 becomes 55 and stand part of the bill. Clause 50. The former clause 50 becomes 56. An amendment proposed thus. Subclause 2. Replace board with commissioner. Clause 51. The former clause 51 becomes 57. An amendment proposed thus. 1. After subclause 2, insert a new subclause 3, 4, and 5, and renumber accordingly. 1. If any person or entity who undertakes any electrical construction or installation without first obtaining a right-of-way permit from the state government commits an offense and is liable to bear the cost of removing such construction or installation, in addition to a fine not less than 5 million naira, or to imprisonment of 18 months, or to both such fine and imprisonment. Any person who A. Taps, makes or cause to be made any connection without overhead, underground or underwater lines or cables or service wires or service facilities of licensee, franchise or permit holder or supplier as the case may be. B. Tampers or bypass a meter, install or uses tampered meter, current reversing transformer loop, connection or any other device or method which interferes with accurate or proper registration, calibration of metering or electricity current, or otherwise results in a manner whereby electricity is stolen or wasted. C. Damage or destroy an electricity meter, apparatus, equipment, or wire, or cause or allows any of them to be so damaged or destroyed as to interfere with the proper of accurate metering of the state, uses electricity unauthorized or through a tampered meter. Or D. Uses electricity for the purpose other than for which the usage of electricity was authorized, so as to consume or use electricity, commit an offense, as is liable or liable on conviction to a fine as provided under this section, or be imprisoned for a time of at least 3 years or both, provided that in a case where the load consumed or used or attempted consumption or use 1 does not exceed 10 kilowatts, the fine imposed on first conviction shall not be less than 3 times the financial gain on account of such theft of electricity, and in the event of second or subsequent conviction of fine imposed shall not be less than 6 times the financial gain of the account of such theft of electricity. Or 2, exceed 10 kilowatts. The fine imposed first conviction shall not be less than 3 the time financial gain on account of such theft of the electricity, and in the event of second or subsequent conviction, the penalty shall be for a fine of at least 6 times the financial gain on account of such theft of electricity, and imprisoned for a term of not less than 6 months and a maximum of up to 3 years. Any person A willfully damages any electricity installation, appliances or meter in the state, or unlawfully taps off, diverts or takes electricity from them, or interferes with them by any means whatsoever, for any purpose whatsoever, not sanctioned by the Commission or the relevant state license, or B, alters or causes to be altered or permits to be altered any electricity connection in the state without the consent of the Commission of the relevant state license, or does so contrary to the regulation made under this bill, commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine of not less than 5 million naira, or to 2 in subclause 2 line 1 insert without license before construct, and in line 5 excuse me, hello, this is wrong. This is wrong. B, where is C?
Should be continuation of that B. Continuation is continuation.
Okay, B, 2. In subclause 2, line 1, inserts without license before construct, and in line 5, deletes without license. 3. In subclause 5, line 2, delete all to a fine not exceeding 500,000 or after conviction, and in line 3, insert to fine not exceeding 500,000 after the word 3 years, or 4. In subclause 6 and 7, replace authority with power, and insertion of new clause 31. Former clause 31 as follows: the Oyo State electricity market. 1. The establishment of the state electricity market. 2. The commission shall publish, after consulting with the State Executive Council, the Oyo State Integrated Energy Resources Plan, in this bill refers to as IERP. 3. The IERP shall be a document including an identification of stakeholder classes relevant to the electricity sector in the state, the electricity resources available within the state in terms of renewable and non-renewable fuel sources, current generation assets, generation opportunities, current transmission, distribution and supply assets located within the state, and the right of way available to meet the identified current and future electricity demand of residents of the state. 4. The IERP shall be set over such a time horizon, not less than 10 years into the future, as the Commission may determine in consultation with its stakeholders, and shall, amongst other things, demonstrate. Given under insertion of new clause 46 Integrated utility license, subject to such terms and conditions as the Commission may stipulate in the license. An integrated utility site license shall authorize an applicant to construct, own, operate, and maintain connected services for the integrated generation, distribution, and supply of electricity to consumers located entirely within the state or specific part thereof, in such a manner as may be specified in the terms and conditions of the license. But such a license shall not be issued with transmission or system operation rights of any kind, provided the integrated utility license shall not under any circumstance deploy generation facilities in excess of 25 megawatts as installed capacity per license. Insertion of new clause 47, embedded electricity generation license, subject to such terms and conditions as the Commission may stipulate in the license. An embedded electricity generation license shall authorize an applicant to construct, own, operate, and maintain connected facilities for the embedded generation of electricity to customers located entirely within the state or a specific part thereof, in such a manner as may be specified in the terms and conditions of its license. 2. The embedded generator and distribution license shall enter various agreements, such as being not limited to power purchase agreement, connection agreement, interface agreement, use of network agreement, and ancillary service agreement. 3. A distribution license and embedded generator may in their power purchase agreement determine the charges and any relevant security for such charges that shall be paid by the distribution license to the embedded generator for such capacity and energy that is made available to the distribution license. 4. All distribution licenses shall be responsible for distribution planning. A. Forecasting the future demand on the distribution system. B. Analyzing the impact of the connection of new facilities such as generation units, load, distribution lines, and substations. C. Planning the expansion of the distribution system to ensure its adequacy to meet forecast demand and the connection of new facilities. D. Identifying and correcting problems on quality of supply, power quality, and system losses in distribution systems. E. Distribution planning and system studies. 5. Distribution license shall ensure that the embedded generator is appropriately informed with report to the maximum capacity of the networks, most suitable location to ensure reliability and minimal loss factor, and other critical factors such as load balance. Mini grid permits. A mini grid may be any of the following: 1. Isolated mini grid. B. Interconnected mini grid. 2. The Commission may, on request of a mini grid developer, grant a mini grid permit to construct, own, operate, and or maintain an isolated mini grid in a designated unreserved area. 3. The Commission may request of a mini grid developer approve the tripartite contract as agreed with the respective connected community and distribution license to construct, operate, and or maintain an interconnected mini grid in an unreserved area within a geographic location. 4. A mini grid developer applying for a mini grid permit shall submit to the Commission an accurate description of the proposed description and generation system, including geographical depiction. 5. For an isolated mini grid, the Commission may grant a permit mentioned upon the fulfillment of the following condition, amongst others: A. An application has been received by the Commission for the intended area. B. Confirmation that based on the distribution license, expansion plans approved by the Commission, the mini-grid activities will not interfere with the expansion plans into the designated unreserved area. C. Written consent of the distribution license of the intended area where the proposed operational area of the mini-grid developer will be. D. The intended geographical location is an unreserved area which has not been assigned to an IEDNO or any other mini-grid developer. E. Submission of the executed agreements between the community and the mini-grid developer for approval by the Commission. F. All necessary land for construction and installation of all assets has been acquired or leased, and all other necessary permits have been granted to the mini-grid developer, etc. 6. For an interconnected mini-grid, the connected community, the mini-grid developer, and the distribution license have to sign a tripartite contract which becomes binding for all parties upon approval by the Commission. The Commission may approve the tripartite contract mentioned upon the fulfillment of the following conditions. A. An application has been received by the Commission for the intended area. B. The proposed retail tariff is calculated using the methodology agreed by the mini-grid developer, the distribution license, the connected community, and approved by the Commission. B. C. The mini-grid developer, the distribution license, and the connected community have executed a tripartite contract which shall contain at the minimum the information below. 1. The usage rights for distribution license network infrastructure which shall become an interconnected mini-grid. 2. The construction and ownership rights of additional infrastructure if applicable. The tariff for electricity generated by the mini-grid and fed into the distribution license network if applicable. The tariff for the purchase of electricity from distribution license network as applicable. And 5. The agreement of the connected community to purchase electricity from the mini-grid for tariffs defined. Instruction of new clause 54. Captive generation permit. Any person wishing to construct, own, maintain, install, and operate an electricity generating plant for the purpose of captive generation shall first apply and obtain a captive permit issued by the Commission on terms and conditions as the Commission may fix in the permit and in accordance with the regulation. Every permit holder under this section must apply for and receive prior written consent of the Commission before supplying surplus power not exceeding 1 megawatt to an off-taker. 3. Every permit holder under this section who intends to supply surplus power exceeding 1 megawatt to an off-taker must apply for generation license. Section 55. Clause 55. Power to make regulation regarding licensing requirements. The Commission is hereby authorized and empowered to make regulations necessary for proper implementation and enforcement of the licensing provisions set forth in this bill. 2. Without limiting the generality of the foregoing, the Commission is by regulation or guideline prescribed: A. The application process and forms required for obtaining a license. B. The critical qualification and standards to be met by the applicant seeking a license, the fees, charges, and payment procedures associated with license application, renewals, and modification. D. The procedures for inspecting and evaluating applicants to ensure compliance with the licensing requirements, the terms and conditions that shall be included in licenses, including any restrictions or endorsements. The procedures for renewing, transferring, suspending, or revoking license, the requirements for maintaining records, reports, and documentation by license holders. H. The guidelines and standard for ongoing compliance, monitoring, and enforcement. I. Any other matters that are necessary or expedient to give full effect to the licensing provision of this bill. Clause 56. Contract. 1. Operation by licenses in the state shall be only on the basis of binding and enforceable contract, and a company license under any license category shall enter into such number of contracts as are required for carrying out its licensed business. 2. All contracts shall be in writing and shall be filed with the Commission before they become commercially effective and enforceable. 3. The Commission shall not have the power to alter, amend, or in any way constrain the performance of a contract duly negotiated and concluded in accordance with this bill. All contracts between licenses and shall be subject to this bill and the law of the state. 57. Franchise of distributing and transmission system. The Commission shall, where necessary, approve distribution and transmission franchise as may be sought by a distribution or transmission license. 2. The following distribution franchise models are permissible under the bill. A. Metering, billing, and collection. B. Total management of electricity distribution function in a ring fence area. Total management of distribution feeders, including billing and collection. D. Loss reduction and provision of embedded generation. The following distribution franchising models are permissible under this bill. Clause 58. Instruction of Clause 58. Power to make regulation regarding licensing requirements. 1. The Commission is hereby authorized and empowered to make regulations necessary for the proper implementation and enforcement for the licensing provisions set forth in this bill. 2. Without limiting the generality of the foregoing, the Commission by regulation or guidelines prescribe A. The application process and forms required for obtaining a license. B. The critical qualification and standards to be met by the applicant seeking a license. The fees, charges, payments, procedures associated with license application, renewals and modifications. D. The procedures for inspecting and evaluating applicants to ensure compliance with licensing requirements. The terms and conditions that shall be included in licenses, including any restriction or endorsement. The procedures for renewing, transferring, suspending, or revoking licenses. The requirements for maintaining records, reports, and documentation by license holders. The guidelines and standards for ongoing compliance, monitoring, and enforcement. I. Any other matters that are necessary or expedient to give full effect to the licensing. Insertion of new clause 62. Commissioning and usages to set up full internet services. Before commencing operation, the Commission and each license shall set up a full service internet portal that enables any interested person to obtain and, if desired, download information on A. all Commission meetings, decision, orders, procurement, and employment processes. B. Real-time data on all key performance standards and metrics that the licensee is obliged to meet and reports on to the Commission. Insertion of subclause 64. Insertion of new clause 64. Powers of inspectors. 1. Subject to subsection 6 of this section, an inspector may at all reasonable times enter the premises of a license or any other person upon which the inspector has reasonable cause to suspect an offense against this bill has been committed, and shall have power to make such examination, inspection, and inquiry, and do such things as may appear necessary for ascertaining either compliance has been made with this bill. 2. All books, records, accounts, and documents required to be kept by the licensee under the terms and conditions of this license, or by virtue of an order or regulation of the Commission, shall be open to inspection at all reasonable times by the inspector. 3. An inspector may inspect at all reasonable times a station or other equipment or apparatus or premises worked or used by or in the possession under the control of the license. 4. The powers of entry and inspection conferred by this section shall be exercised in accordance with the consent of the person in charge of the premises concerned, or in accordance with a search warrant issued by the magistrate having jurisdiction over such premises upon an application made to a magistrate by the Commission. 5. An inspector exercising powers conferred by a search warrant issued under subsection 4 may, on behalf of the Commission, seize any equipment, apparatus, book, record, or document which the inspector has reasonable cause to suspect will afford evidence of the commission of an offense, and the Commission may retain it for so long as may be necessary for the purpose of any examination, investigation, trial, or inquiry. 6. An inspector shall, on demand by any person affected by the exercise of the powers conferred upon him by this section, exhibit the certificate issued to him under section 64. 7. The inspector shall retain a logbook of all inspections ordered to be executed, which logbook shall show the address or the description of the location or premises inspected, the name of the company of the premises, a summary of the nature of the inspection and the date and time of inspection, and the name of the persons carrying out the inspection. Any person who 65. Insertion of clause 65. Framework for mainstream climate change. The Commission shall prepare and forward to the government a framework for mainstreaming of climate change, and also prescribe measures and mechanisms for A. Identifying actions for adoption and mitigation against climate change. B. Identifying strategic areas of the state's infrastructure requiring climate change proofing. C. Enhancing energy conservation, efficiency, and use of renewable energy in industrial, commercial, transport, domestic, and other uses. 66. Insertion of subsection 66. Renewable energy and energy efficiency. 1. The Commission shall support the development and utilization of renewable energy for this purpose. Take the measures stipulated under this section to increase the contribution of renewable energy and the energy mix with the state. A. Stipulate its licensing and fees schedule, simplified licensing and fees regime for issuance of licenses to renewable energy services companies for the provision of electricity to consumers and from renewable energy sources. B. Issue commercial and technical regulations for connectivity to the grid and distribution network for sale of electricity generated from renewable energy sources to distribution, supply, and trading licenses, eligible customers and consumers. C. Issue technical standards and certification procedures for technical personnel participating in renewable energy projects, taking into cognizance the need to promote local skills and local requirements for renewable energy projects. D. Provision of standards for power purchase agreements or energy service agreements with specific requirements and terms for marketing and trading renewable electricity. E. Provide regulations specifying the role of generation licenses, transmission licenses, distribution licenses, integrated utility licenses, and systems operator licenses in the integration of renewable energy generated capacity into the state grid and distribution network. F. monitor and enforce compliance with renewable purchase obligations and generation purchase obligation as may be prescribed by the Commission. G. Provision of embedded renewable electricity generation regulation, including review of extant standards for hydroelectricity projects, solar PV, wind turbines, and regulation of biomass electricity. Insertion of new clause 67, general provision 1. Notwithstanding any provision to the contrary of this bill is subject to the express provision of item 13 of part 2, schedule 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 2. Any distribution system or generation station being operated within the state shall be licensed by the Commission. Lastly, 3. A company issued a generation license pursuant to this bill may sell to a Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Committee, NERC, National Distribution Company for use in other states. Mr. Speaker, sir, distinguished colleagues, I beg to report.